The US State Department says RT will no longer be treated on a par with other news outlets. It comes after we repeatedly asked for evidence to back up the department's allegations that Russia's hit numerous hospitals and airstrikes in Syria. It also claims Moscow's blocked humanitarian aid from reaching conflict zones. Our Washington correspondent Gayane Chichakyan gave us her first-hand account of that briefing.
It took some pressing and effort to get specifics. As you know, State Department's John Kirby has accused Russia of hitting 5 hospitals in Syria within the past few days. When asked by another journalist in which cities, Mr. Kirby did not seem to know or think it was necessary to share such specifics. I followed up on my colleague's question. Here.
Don't you think it is important to give a specific list of hospitals that you're accusing Russia of hitting? Those are grave accusations.
I'm not making those accusations. I'm telling you we've seen reports from credible aid organizations that 5 hospitals and a clinic, at least one clinic.
In what cities, at least? You
can go look at the information that many of the Syrian relief agencies are putting out there publicly. We're getting our information from them too. These reports. But you're
citing those reports without giving any specifics.
Because we believe these agencies are credible, and because we have other sources of information that back up what we're seeing from some of these reports. And you know what? Why don't you ask? Well, here's a good question. Why don't you ask your defense ministry what they're doing and see if you can get? No.
If you give a specific list of hospitals, my colleagues who are listening hopefully would be able to go and ask Russian officials about a specific list of hospitals that
you work for Russia Today, right? Isn't that your agency?
Correct.
And so, why shouldn't you ask your government the same kinds of questions that you're standing here asking me? Ask them about their military activities. Get them to tell you what, or to deny what they're doing.
When I ask for specifics, it seems your response is, why are you here? Well, you are leveling that accusation. And if you give specifics, my colleagues would be able to ask Russian officials.
Once again, you're just wrong. I'm not leveling those accusations. Relief agencies that we find credible are leveling those accusations.
Furthermore, Mr. Kirby made it clear, had the questions come from somebody else, another journalist, somebody not working for RT, he would have answered differently.
Be careful about saying your defense minister and things like that. I mean, she's a journalist just like the rest of us are, so it's, you know, she's asking pointed questions, but they're not, you know,
from a state-owned outlet.
But they're not
from a state-owned outlet.
The questions that she's asking are not out of line.
I didn't say the questions were out of line.
Okay.
I didn't say the questions were out of line.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Oh no, I understand.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to put Russia Today on the same level with the rest of you who are representing independent media outlets.
Hold on, but look, there. Well, we can talk about this later offline. But just, you know, the question is not an inappropriate question to ask.
Didn't say that it was, but I also think it should be asked of their own defense ministry.
Okay.
Which they don't do, which Russia Today doesn't do.
As I was walking out of the briefing room, an official from the State Department's press relations office caught up with me, said, "I'm sorry about that," and asked for my email to send the list of hospitals. I received that list. It mentions 5 hospitals reportedly hit by airstrikes. Among them, 3 hospitals in Atareb, in western rural Aleppo, and 2 others in Syria's Idlib province, in the towns of Benish and Marat an-Numan. The State Department official cited the World Health Organization as the source. Upon receiving the email, we saw a press release put out by the WHO this Wednesday saying 5 hospitals were attacked. The statement does not attribute blame. We cannot independently verify the reports at this time. I know my colleagues at RT in Moscow are planning to ask the Russian Foreign Ministry about these specific accusations this Thursday.
The Russian embassy in the US has reacted to the incident at the briefing. It said such behavior from the Washington official only shows the State Department has no evidence to prove its allegations. Earlier, we heard from 2 former US diplomats. Here's what they had to say.
Watching Admiral Kirby performance and behavior, shameful, reprehensible, despicable. I mean, he really is an embarrassment to be in the position that he is and to have conducted himself that way. It is so unprofessional, and it borders on incompetence.
I thought it was interesting. He faulted RT for being state-supported, and then immediately turned to, now let's hear from the BBC. I guess there is very much a double standard. On the substance of Aleppo, you know, here we have a Russian-supported Syrian offensive against al-Qaeda in Aleppo, which is strikingly similar to what is going on with the U.S. support for the Iraqi offensive against ISIS in Mosul. There's all sorts of understanding. In the case of Mosul, you have an offensive against a populated area held by a vicious terrorist group. No understanding of that situation when it comes to Aleppo, just unsupported accusations and not even identifying the sources of the accusation. It's hard to believe that this is being done in good faith.